you're ready. Welcome back to Going Down with Ella Yerman. I'm Ella Yerman. My name is in the title. My enemies could easily find me, but choose not to. Okay, let's get into the news. On April 10th, Kanye West tweeted, "You start dating trans women and wondering why y'all got so many things in common. Hey! Just because you have a manic episode every 6 weeks does not make you one of us." A UK High Court has ruled that trans women can't be defined as women, and Going Down has ruled that British teeth can't be defined as teeth. Last month, Sesame Street's parent company announced massive layoffs, right after it was announced that this spring's season of Sesame Street would be the last new season to stream on Max. For decades, the show has raised test scores, helped kids regulate emotions, and taught people how to count while under duress from a vampire. But in America, the more useful something is to poor children, the faster it disappears. 1 essential service, 2 essential services, no essential services. Don't worry. We auditioned over 500 actors of felt experience so that we can fill the void. Please welcome our youth correspondent, Goody.
Hey kids, I'm Goody. I'm here to help you iPad babies at home learn, grow, and stay ready for the herring road that lies ahead. Low-rise jean summer. I'm kidding. I mean totalitarianism.
Maybe a little dark for the kids, right?
Honesty is important, Miss Ella. Next headline!
Okay, yeah, you're right. The Trump administration is ignoring the Supreme Court's order to bring back a Maryland man deported to a prison in El Salvador.
Ooh.
Trump also went on to say that the homegrowns are next, implying that citizens may also be sent to El Salvador.
So, kids, tie your shoes tight today so you can run from ICE tomorrow. They are looking for you, and they are armed.
Goody! Oh my God, that's way too much.
Oh, apologies, Miss Ella. Goody will adapt. Goody understands and always takes feedback well, especially after the incident. Next headline!
On the heels of Mahmoud Khalil's disappearance, Palestinian Columbia student and legal permanent U.S. resident Mohsen Madawi was recently detained by ICE during a citizenship interview.
It's like Goody always says, remember your ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and please don't detain me's.
Parents are not going to let their kids watch this show.
You're right, Miss Ella. Let me try that again via song. You don't have any rights under fascism. Everyone you love can be disappeared.
No, stop.
Disappeared.
No more singing, no more singing.
Okay.
We don't have the budget for that. Moving on. We thought she was over in 2000, but she's going viral now. That's right, it's measles. Around 560 Texans have been diagnosed with measles, a disease previously eradicated in America.
So kids, if you're asking, why would mommy and daddy want me to die in pain from a preventable disease? Just know your parents did their own research and found a Minions meme that said vaccines make kids trans. Now, drink your unpasteurized milk and say your prayers. It keeps the gay thoughts away.
The Trump administration announced it was freezing over $2 billion in funding for Harvard as a part of their incoherent crusade against anti-Semitism on college campuses.
But don't worry, kids, you don't need Harvard. Just crack open a PragerU textbook and read all about how trans people eat babies and chattel slavery created jobs.
Goody! Jesus Christ! This isn't easing children's anxiety. You're just saying horrible things in a fucked up puppet voice.
Isn't Goody just doing for kids what Miss Ella does for her audience of parasocial weirdos? Huh? Harder, you pussy!
Oh my God, he's dead. We've got a great show for you tonight. Leilani is here. We've got a money nerd stopping by, and then I'm gonna pull an uncle after his third natty light and talk at length about the military. But first, the Trump administration just announced it will allow pork and poultry plants to run at even faster line speeds, raising serious concerns about worker safety. Here to comment is proud third-generation meat slinger Carlene McGiblets.
Hello, Ella, and hello, Donald J. Trump. Thank you for making the chickens go faster. I've never been wetter. With poultry and other juices. It's a great week to be a meat-working American if you hate your body, mind, and the concept of aging past 42.
Wait, so you like the new policy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My grandpappy and I used to pray to the ghost of Upton Sinclair that I could eviscerate a bird in under 0.6 seconds. And now, thanks to Trump, I legally have to. I'm doing 175 birds per minute. That's nearly 3 chickens a second, AKA speed dating. But you get to kill them during it. God, I am in a good mood. I love my perfect job.
Okay, but poultry workers already have high rates of illness and injury. Faster speeds could make it worse.
Worse? My life is better than ever. Bird flu particles are now slamming my face so fast, I'm getting abrasions. That's free skincare. Yesterday, I started lactating barbecue sauce. A fantastic sign. I'm skinning birds like Fruit Ninja on bath salts, and I love Fruit Ninja. Also, the USDA says there's no direct link between speed and injuries.
Sure, but the union says otherwise.
The unions, a bunch of crybabies. Oh, my wrist is broken. Oh, I lost a toe in the nugget grinder. Boo-hoo! Please, Brenda, tape it up and pass me a duck. My hand's not even real anymore. It's a chicken foot duct taped to a broom handle. You think the founding fathers cared about OSHA? No. They said, give me liberty or give me 300 birds per minute and a fifth of Jim Beam on my lunch break.
Okay, but what about contamination and bird flu like you mentioned earlier? Cases are rising and this could make things worse.
Relax. I lick every bird clean before it hits the line. It's called Carlene Quality Control. Only 3 confirmed hallucinations from Nugget this month. A record low! Also, if your nugget isn't a little covered in shit, did you even process it in America?
That is disgusting. You deserve better working conditions. Look, if you had the power, what would your dream setup be?
1 knife, 1 Carlene, 400 chickens a minute. No unions, no breaks, no pants. And I want to get unbanned from the Costco rotisserie counter for yelling, "Let me back there, I can do it faster."
I don't understand why you're defending all this. Are you being bribed by Big Chicken?
Fine, all right, you got me. I'm not Carlene McGiblets. I'm Karen Featherstone, Vice President of Worker Optics and Competitive Speed Slaughter at Tyson. And you've just been McGibleted.
I knew it.
We wanted to see if America could handle faster meat and fewer unions. And congrats, you passed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go kill a whistleblower. I mean, happen upon a tragic workplace accident.
Carlene McGiblets, a.k.a. Karen Featherstone, everyone.
Who wants a salmonella high
Do not let her touch you! Do not let her touch you! We'll be right back. Welcome back. This month, Trump announced a round of sweeping tariffs on basically the entire world. The markets tanked, and anyone who isn't a barista for life lost their retirement savings. Then, on April 9th, Trump hit pause on the tariffs, the stock market surged, and now the Bloomberg guys seem euphoric. Or concussed, it's hard to tell. Now, I didn't take econ in college. I took feelings and fractions, a trauma-informed approach to numbers. And the rest of my team have BFAs in sucking dick. So to help us make sense of the economy, we went straight to the source, numbers. Here to tell us if this all might secretly be a good thing is founder of Just Economy Lab, Anisha Stevens. Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so first question, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, so I guess to cut to the main thing, it's not working. Whatever it is going on. It's total chaos. So we should start with tariffs. Tariffs are ultimately just a tax, right? They're a tax on imported goods. So everything that we bring in to buy into the economy has a tax specially for that. But there's a common myth that the Trump administration has been sort of putting out there that when we impose tariffs on a different country, it's that country that pays the tax. But It's actually all of us. All of us are getting screwed over by whatever it is that's happening out there. The reason for that is when a tariff is imposed, it's actually the importer of that good that pays that tax when it comes in. That person, because it's probably a profit-motivated crazy person, just takes that amount of money and sticks it on the bill that he gives or she gives or whomever gives to you.
They.
As someone who uses they-them programs, I probably should have done that.
Sure, well, you know.
But I usually assume it's a horrible white man.
As you should assume.
Yes. So all of those costs from tariffs that Donald Trump is doing are actually borne, like we pay the cost for all of them. They go directly on all of our bills. So that's the first way we're being fucked over. The second way we're being fucked over is all of the volatility that you see in the stock market. So how goods flow across the global economy is dependent on a bunch of firms. And when those firms see tariffs and they see Donald Trump tweeting that there are new tariffs at all different times of the day in whatever whims that he feels, there's a lot of uncertainty. And you see that directly into the stock market. So the stock market goes up, goes down. You've probably seen a lot of other economists on TV with graphs that go like that and being like, what is happening? Nobody knows what's happening because Donald Trump doesn't know what's happening.
Right.
But so we're being hit in our pocketbooks every day with prices, and then we're also being hit on any of our savings that we have because most of us invest our savings in funds in the stock market. And when that volatility hits, that means our long-term future is at stake.
What are tariffs supposed to do under like a competent president? We have a 145% tariff on China.
Yeah.
They just hit back with 125% on it.
Yes.
What is going on? Are we winning? Like, what's supposed to be happening?
Well, I don't think anybody wins in this administration, but I think tariffs in and of themselves are an instrument that could do good things. But it really depends on what the strategy is and why. Any economist will tell you in and of itself, it's not going to solve every problem that we have. So again, a tariff is just a tax, right? And it's really there to protect domestic manufacturing, domestic products. So you might put a tariff on another country in order to make sure that the goods that are produced in America continue to be bought. They're not sort of undermined by cheap foreign goods. But again, like that in and of itself is totally fine. but Donald Trump has no plan. No one in his administration seems to know what the hell they're doing.
Sure.
So again, tariffs have been used from the beginning of our country, right? It's how we have regulated trade always. But again, without a plan, it's consumers and it's honestly low-income people and people of color who are going to feel the brunt of this the most.
Perfect. Those guys have had it too good for too long.
There you go.
Is anyone benefiting from what's going on right now?
So I would say if you think about anything that Donald Trump does, the people who are supposed to benefit, there's only two. Well, three, I guess. It's Donald Trump himself, it's all other wealthy people, and it's corporations. I don't think they are even winning in this, right? Like, again, if you are a business leader and you have no confidence in what the economy is doing, you don't know where to invest, you don't know where to spend money, you don't know whether to keep employees. Like, there are so many consequences to people. So I don't think those people are winning in the way they thought they were supposed to be winning, but the people who are being really fucked over are all of the rest of us.
Yeah. Hypothetical for you, let's imagine a viewer of this show who has a 401k. They don't exist. But again, let's imagine. What should they be doing right now to protect themselves? Is it time to invest in gold?
So, I don't think anybody actually knows. That is what I truly believe. Anybody who tells you that you should be doing X, Y, or Z has no clue what they're talking about, because Donald Trump is dictating our economy in ways that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Things could change rapidly. So, you know, I am not a financial advisor. Don't take any financial advice from me.
Don't take any of that financial advice from them.
No. But I think the thing that all of this tells me and shows me, I run a project where people of color, working class people, come together to imagine what their economy should be. Because it's really people who know both how to value themselves, how to value others, and to build like a brighter future. And so honestly, what's happening to your 401k, what's happening to your bottom line in prices, in whatever it is that you are buying, it should make you angry. That's the result. You should be angry that like your long-term financial future, the money that you worked hard for, no matter how you worked for it, is being decimated at the whim of like a political psychopath. That is unacceptable. A president should not be doing that to their people.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like every president since we started having presidents has done that to the American people, but in theory, that sounds great.
Yeah. I would say I don't think a president has done that in this way. Most presidents do that through progressive policy, through all sorts of like the legal mechanisms of oppressing people. This man is just oppressing people on the internet, and the market shifts all over the place.
I guess like my final question for you is, where do we go from here? What is the takeaway for, the average red-blooded American commie?
I think, there are two things I would say. One is this will actually impact you in real ways that you don't feel yet. The last time Trump was in office, we had a version of this tariff warfare too, not at the same escalation and impact that we're seeing now. But if you think just purely on grocery bills, 60% of our fruit is imported, and a third of our vegetables are imported. The last time we went through this, grocery bills increased on produce by a little over 7%. And that was at a reasonable tariff amount, right? The Yale Budget Lab just put out a study that they're expecting that this will ultimately hit pocketbooks at about $2,000 a year. That's what you're expecting in an increase. And actually, the feedback that I get from most people is, what is $2,000?
Well, it's half an apartment in Bushwick.
Yes, but it's monopoly money for so many people. But I think the thing that I always go to is, there was a study a few years ago that 36% of adults can't weather a financial crisis of $400. So if you have an unexpected $400 payment, 37% of adults would need to borrow money, to sell something, to take on credit card debt to do it. 13% of American adults would not even be able to do that. So while $2,000 might be Bushwick rent, but it's also at where we're heading to is not being able to pay rent, not being able to buy food. And again, it's low-income people and people of color where that are always the first hit and the hardest hit.
Well said. Thank you. We are about at time, but thank you so much for being here, for gazing into the crystal ball of global capitalism so that the rest of us don't have to. And if you see my 401k, please tell it I miss it. And I'm sorry, Anisha Stephen, everyone. We'll be right back. We just talked for a while, and if you want to see the full conversation, it's on our Patreon at patreon.com/goingdownshow. And now, a word from our sponsor.
There on a shelf sits a vase full of flowers. I care for them still, though they're losing their color and taking the candy. Though it makes me crazy, I'm not scared of you, though I'm losing you lately. The kill, it's laced in your lips now, so say what you will, but I'm still keeping my head down and talking in my sleep. You're smiling in my dreams. I'm not scared of you, 'cause I know you still miss me. Don't you start, don't you need, please don't stop. Smile when you're there in my dreams. You couldn't be the one to cut it off. No, I couldn't put it, I was finally enough. You brought the knife and then you lined it up. So I'll cut you deep until you stop. I'm losing my senses, feeling through the dark, tripping over messes. Maybe one more try is enough. In your half-swollen eyes, you're guiding the knife. I'm not scared of you, but I'll do whatever you like. Don't you start, don't you need, please don't stop. Smile when you're there in my dreams. You couldn't be the one to cut it off. No, I couldn't bear that I was finally enough. You brought the knife and then you lined it up. So I'll cut you deep until you stop. Thank you guys. My name's been Leilani Patel. Thank you guys so much.
Welcome back. Before we get to our final story tonight, I just want to say happy belated tax day. I, for one, love this magical time of year when we all get on our hands and knees and beg TurboTax to let us write off last year's vapes, wigs, and one surprisingly profitable OnlyFans collab as business expenses. Gathering all of last year's W-2s, 1099s, AK-47s, R2-D2s, and A24s gets me revving. But also confused. I look back on my paychecks and wonder, wait, where did all my money go? And Uncle Sam replies, you silly, forgetful bitch, we've been over this. Our nation's troops need $10,000 for a toilet seat cover. And we're hoping to get them a matching bidet by 2030. That's right, tonight we're talking about the military budget. I hate the military, but I love that dang tune. Tax dollars aren't going to roads, schools, or affordable health care. They're going to the Pentagon's jaw-dropping $892 billion defense budget. In 2024, the average American U.S. taxpayer contributed $2,929 to the Pentagon budget. And it's not exactly keeping us safe, unless your idea of safety is owning enough aircraft carriers to stop a surprise invasion from Canada. Something Trump actually suggested. I'm not scared of Canadians. I could take Tate McRae easy. Is she Canadian? I don't know, she just looks like hockey. But hey, maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe $892 billion is reasonable. So let's take a closer look, Seth Meyers Don't Sue Me, to see what's worth keeping and what maybe could get cut from the military budget.
No cutting. This isn't Tumblr 2012.
Seth Meyers?
No, I'm Grumman Raylock North Dynamics, CEO. And I can't sit idly by while you smear the military's beautiful, bloated generosity toward artisanal mom and pop defense contractors like mine.
In what world are you Ma or Pa?
Ma and Pa. I'm non-binary.
No, that's not how that works.
Hear me out. I made $30 million last year selling jailbroken iPads and fighter jets. Same tech they use at Blank Street Coffee, but not nearly as combat ready. Here's my card.
This is a blank check already made out to you. You sold $30 million in iPads?
And still got a tax refund. That's why you always file early. But I'm not here to brag. I'm here to stop you from suggesting military budget cuts. I need those guys buying from me. Now, feast your eyes on all the beautiful things in my briefcase.
No! Stay away! Stay back! Wait, but you can't just leave me here alone with an unattended briefcase. That's Chekhov's luggage. Back when Joe Biden was still alive, he proposed a 7.3. Back when Joe Biden was still alive. Back when Joe Biden was still alive. Back when Joe Biden was still alive, he proposed a $7.3 trillion budget for 2025. $1.6 trillion of that was for discretionary spending, money that could go towards things like emergency funds or education, but somehow always ends up going to the Department of Defense, a department currently helmed by Pete Hegseth, seen here moments after a cop said, "Sir, I don't know who your father is, and based on your tequila breath and bloodshot eyes, I'm not sure you do either." This year alone, Pete's department is getting more than we spend on public health, housing, and transportation combined, and it's only going up. Adjusted for inflation, defense spending has risen 62% since 1980. And it's not just the DoD. Once you add in war-adjacent agencies and debt interest, we're allocating $1.3 trillion a year to war. Sure, some of that goes to salaries and logistics, boots on the ground, gas in the jets, but a huge chunk of it is weapons. We're stockpiling like we're prepping for the world's most expensive LARP. Except, instead of foam swords, it's tanks, and instead of pretending to be elves, we're bombing kids in Yemen. Some folks say that the U.S. has to spend this much on defense because our allies are too weak. But a recent RAND study shows other NATO countries are pulling more weight than we give them credit for. So there's really no need to spend more money than China and Russia and India and Saudi Arabia and the UK and Germany and the Ukraine and France and Japan combined. That money goes to things like operations, research, and of course the most mysterious secret category. Miscellaneous. I'm gonna touch it. No, I have to open it. I knew it. I knew there'd be good stuff in here. Proof of overspending. Look, the new Lockheed Martin F-35 combat jet might cost $1.4 trillion to finish developing. That's about the same as a full year of Social Security. Let's take that money and put it towards supporting millions of retirees. Easy. Nearly half of the Pentagon's budget goes to private contractors like Grumman and Raytheon and Lockheed and Palantir. Back in the 90s, the Pentagon thought it could save money by encouraging contractors to merge, and they did, shrinking from 51 firms to just 5. Then the Pentagon laid off 130,000 contract oversight workers and acted shocked when the prices exploded. For example, a Stinger missile used to cost $25,000. Now, over $400,000 because Raytheon's the only supplier and we're launching them like confetti out of Ukraine. That's an easy cut. Or how about a $13 billion aircraft carrier that doesn't work? Don't need that. Or 200 nuclear bombers at $564 million each. Get the hell out of here. Wait, also, if there are only 5 major contractors, what are these other names Grumman has written down? Sikorsky? Bowden? Textron? General Dynamics, but with 3 X's? Oh, no. This is a baby name list. Guys! He's expecting. Oh. Okay, it looks like the U.S. is also spending a cool $500 million to restock weapons sent to Taiwan to counter China in the Indo-Pacific. Seems excessive. Cut! And more aid to Israel, which of course is already the biggest recipient of U.S. military aid in history at about $250 billion so far. We can cut that for sure. And there's also funding for submarines and AI military applications because nothing says safety like giving a drone massive tits, airbrushed skin, and 6 fingers per hand. Cut! There's also... Oh, no. Wait, this is just a handwritten note from Pete Hegseth, who's trying to figure out how he got home from the bar last night and why there's a number saved in his phone as The Atlantic. I just don't understand. With all this waste, why do we keep increasing the defense budget? Oh. Because the Pentagon failed its audit for the 7th year in a row. Out of 28 sections, they passed 9. It was so messy, the auditors basically said, we give up. The Defense Department has been unable to fully account for how it's spending its money every single year since yearly audits became a requirement. Okay, it seems like there's a new law that will make it a requirement to pass their audit by 2028, but was passing the audit optional before? What is the point of an audit then? And meanwhile, Senate Republicans want to cut social services while adding another $346 billion over 4 years to boost military spending and fund a massive deportation plan.
There's actually bipartisan support to slash defense spending.
Ah!
I've gathered the strength to return. I'm not afraid of you or your bodyguard.
My bodyguard? Are you talking about this?
Oh, God.
This is a piece of paper. Do you think this is a real guy? Boo! By the way, the reason there's bipartisan support for cuts is just... is just because Republicans want to slash civilian jobs like mental health and social sciences that fall under the DoD umbrella while still investing another $100 billion in nukes and drones and border militarization.
Which is good for defense contractors like me. Makes selling overpriced weapons to the Pentagon even easier.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you like budget cuts now? Well, how's this then? Instead of a fighter jet, how about we use a medieval catapult to launch Marjorie Taylor Greene at an enemy base at the drop of a dime? We can sell the unusable $14 billion aircraft to James Cameron for the next Avatar movie. Instead of buying missiles, we'll just take one big brick, give it to Pete Buttigieg, and then when the time comes, we'll tell him he can finally become a gay icon if he throws it and hits the target. We can replace the troops with something even more feral, like New York high schoolers on the subway. And yeah, wow, look, that's $899,999,999,999. Would you look at that?
$1 left. Finish the job.
It's just that $1 goes to this. The Benjamin Button veteran who looks like a child but actually served in Nam and now plays taps on a trumpet at military funerals. Exactly.
He's actually quite good.
I don't want to cut the arts, even for the military.
What if I told you he played at Dick Cheney's funeral and people wept?
Yeah, he's out.
No!
Wait, but if I cut the taps guy, now who's playing taps? We'll be right back. That's our show! Thank you to Brick, Rose, Anisha, Leilani, Pat, TurboTax, Reed, Skylar, our writers, our patrons, our incredible crew, and of course, give it up for our live studio audience! Good night!
You and your apolitical friends think it's the end. We're all kidding ourselves. You're cynical and always right. I put up a fight. You've got the world on your shelf. Can you live with yourself? No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it. Can you live with yourself? I heard you studied philosophy at an Ivy League, and you did it just for fun. No need to fight for change. Just cast off blame. Look in the mirror, swallow your shame.
School, you're reading Sartre and Proust. Why not put them to use? Choose the world that you're in, and if you're hearing the song and you're singing along, then it's not too late to begin. And if not, well,
Can you live with yourself? I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it. Can you live with yourself? You know what they say. First they came for all the people I don't care about. Though I'm sure after this war we'll all know peace and no one will comfort me. 'Cause history never repeats. I bet you wonder how I fucking sleep.
Hi, I'm Ella Yerman, host of Going Down with Ella Yerman. Does our title make you think of a sinking ship or oral sex? If you said ship, you crave stability. If you said oral, you crave validation. Either way, like, subscribe, go down below and leave a comment. And then go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/goingdownshow for exclusive content and hot takes that I legally can't post on Maine. That's patreon.com/goingdownshow. Bye! Mwah.